Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to have the first tasting of my porter with 60L chocolate malt and Husked Carafa 1. This was bottled on 4.11% ABV, 322 it was bottled. That's weird. So 4.11. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it when I used just the Husked Carafa 1 and Husked Carafa 2, but I believe because they are darker, there's not as much sugar in there. I believe because I know when I made the other ones, I was like, man, that seems like a low starting gravity, low final gravity. And I have the Husked 1 and the Husked 2 right here, which I'm going to drink next. And this is 4.5. The Husked 2 is 4.5. And so at least on this one, Beersmith called for this to be 5.4% ABV. The post-boil gravity was low, but I can say on this one, I had 1.5 gallons going into the carboy instead of 1.25. So I know why that is. It's because it's the burner. If I have the burner up too much, obviously it's going to burn off more liquid. So after an hour, you're going to have less. So I turned it down, and I turned it down too far. So when I got finished, I had more volume in there. So I just cooled it off and put it in there. Now, obviously, the more volume you have, the less your post-boil gravity is going to be, versus if you boiled off a little bit more. So in this case, 0.25 gallons more, the ABV or the post-boil gravity would have been higher. So on this one, 2 pounds, 4 ounces of 2-row Pale Malt, 3.2 ounces of Crystal 60L, 2.4 ounces of the Carafa 1 Husked, and then 2.4 ounces of the chocolate malt. So my post-boil gravity should have been 1057. I ended up at 1050. But again, that was with 1.5 gallons instead of 1.25 gallons. Yeah, bottled on 322, 7.75 bricks, 4.11% ABV. So let's go ahead and get this open and see what it's like. 12-ounce bottle, 4 carbonation tablets. Small hiss, good smoke. And if you want to, I did base, I call them base porters for all the ones that just used one malt. So I did like a 60L version with chocolate, a 60L with Husked 1. I'm pretty sure I did it with one. 40L with chocolate, 40L with Husked 1, Husked 2. One of those I didn't do, but I did find another one. So maybe it was one, and that's why I made the 2. But there's videos up there. I will post a link at the end of this video if you want to go check that out. Not very much head on there. Now, this was bottled on 322, like I've said a couple times. It's not actually a month old. Yeah, it's more than a month old. It's about 6 weeks old, and we don't have a head, which is kind of weird. But it is kind of off-white, like light chocolate from the head I do have, but lots of bubbles coming up. If we check the color, brown, lighter amber brown down at the bottom here. It's weird because I thought that Husked, at least on this, it should be around 320 SRM, and even at 1.5 gallons, that's not enough to get it black. But it is a porter. Does it have to be black like a stout? I would say no, but I was expecting it to be darker. Let's go ahead and smell. A little coffee, city roast coffee. Bitter chocolate. Yeah, City Roast coffee, which is light in my opinion, but it is coming off there. Those I can't remember. It seems like there's more chocolate in this one than in the base Husked Carafa, but we'll have to do a side by side to really tell. Yeah, I think the City Roast coffee really stands out the most. Then a lighter chocolate comes through, kind of watery, but it's a porter. It's 4.11%. I think that watery smell should be there, or light smell should be there. Let's go ahead and taste. Kind of watered down coffee, light roasted coffee, a hint of chocolate. I think the coffee chocolate mix really hits in the aftertaste as your palate starts warming up. I think that's where it comes out more, like maybe a little bitter coffee with a hint of chocolate, not sweet at all, which I was thinking this was going to be since it finished at 411. It kind of it kind of reminds me of a brown, kind of watered down, but the flavors are a little bit more. Usually in a brown, maybe a caramel, a toffee, very, very light chocolate. I think the roast, the coffee is a little bit more in this one. It's still light bodied. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the carbonation. I think the carbonation needs to be a little bit more. Drinks more like a coffee. Like the carbonation is lower. So it's like a watered down coffee, light coffee with a touch of bitterness. Like per Untapped, this is supposed to be 29.2 IBUs. I would say it's about 10 from the taste. But as your palate warms up to that aftertaste, it is more of a lighter coffee. Kind of kind of like a cold brewed coffee, a lighter cold brew coffee, just a little thicker. I don't, yeah, it's not as watery. Like if you go to the store and buy a cold brewed coffee that's a light roast or a city roast, something like that, that's kind of what it is, but a little bit thicker. The chocolate's there, but not very much. I think it's solid. It's good. Would I want more? Yes, I want more chocolate. I think I want a little bit more flavor, less watered down, but something I would brew again. This is almost like a spring, like an early spring when it's still cold. I you can drink this in the morning for your coffee. Um, yeah, I think it's fine. It definitely worked. We'll go on to the Dehusk 2. Excuse me. Then I'll have a side by side, and we'll see if we can pick out the difference. Man, so the dehusk is supposed to take the bitterness out. So we'll see if that dehusk 2 has more roasted malt, since I'm guessing it's kiln longer. But yeah, nothing wrong with this one. If you enjoyed this one, check out some more over here. And until next time, happy brewing.